Hey guys, welcome back to the fourth episode of Saving Byzantium. And if you watched the last episode, we have really stabilized the core of our empire. We have kind of taken our cores back and we're now pushing outwards. And if you haven't watched it, by the way, you should watch it. In this episode, we have to deal with the ramifications of this. You know, the Ottoman Empire, very border gory, but they're not really anyone. We don't have that many rivals in Anatolia. Maybe there's the Adina, but they're not particularly threatening. Really, our rivals are the Mamluks and the Naples. And I think, based on this intro, you guys can tell this episode is gonna be diplomacy focused. So first off, if we examine the diplomacy tab, we can tell, yeah, people don't like us because we've been at war with them. We have our faithful ally in Serbia, a faithful ally in Georgia, who we have a marriage union with. But other than that, we are sort of isolated in this region. If we look at the antagonism we have, however, because we've been really aggressive, almost everyone who's aware of us has some sort of antagonism. People who stand out are Wallachia, who are also Orthodox, but they I guess are not upset we're taking land near them. Venice, who, they have influence in art market and we need to sort of kick them back. They also have openness in Albania. We really need to claw this back from them after we maybe build up a navy. Our antagonism is like just under 50, so they're not quite in a coalition. Wallachia, I know, is one of the few countries above. The Mamluks, just slightly above. That's why we're improving relations with them. We're trying to make sure we don't get any coalitions. A lot of the rest of the Muslim world doesn't like us because we've been kicking them out. But even the Christian world doesn't like us. And speaking of the Christian world, something that I've noticed is if you look at the religious tab, while it looks like there's a lot of people here, all of this shading shows that it's mostly actually conquered by Catholic countries. Here we even have Moscow and Novgorod as Orthodox, but Smolensk is currently Christian, although I think they'll annex it back. The Duchy of Lithuania is Catholic. All of the Poland subjects are Catholic, mostly. And I think they're doing their best to convert them. Before starting the recording, I wanted to check the religion in this tab. And even Bohemia and Moravia are Catholic. So, while it kind of looks diverse, when we go into the country tab, most of the world is converting away from Orthodoxy. It's a pretty precarious situation we found ourselves in religion-wise. If you watched the last episode, you might remember we had an event to convert to Catholicism too, which would have been crazy. It would have meant the whole world is Catholic, but we denied it. But we're also going to start thinking outside the Constantinople market, basically. We're also building up our markets. We're going to finish these. And our coalition is already growing. I don't think I haven't paused since last episode. We lost the core because our subject has it. That's not a big deal. We have Lovich, which is whatever. We have Cyprus joined against us. The candidates, which is okay. And I'm not particularly worried about a coalition yet. We are recovering, and our subject is calling us into another war. And we're gonna talk about another field of diplomacy, which is our subjects. Really, our subjects kind of hate us. I have it sorted so we only see the least loyal ones, but if you look, we have a debuff because of a ruler, but other than that, they're not particularly fans of us, and it's mostly because of religion. So I'm going to really boost up our diplomatic spending. This should make everyone loyal, and it's going to give us a ton of diplomats, and we're going to use these diplomats to force conversions on them. We kind of have revolts building up, but I'm not too worried about them, and other states will figure it out. We can no longer rely on conquest to bring in useful pops. Almost all of our pops are in this region, so we're gonna have a nice time urbanizing them. Additionally, we can improve country relations with Tarnovo, which is a vassal we released, and we actually released them for this reason. We want to improve their cultural relation. So now if we look, they don't hate us, and we would have an easier time accepting them, which will mean that whenever we try to integrate them, they will become cores. And once we annex them up, that will happen the same. I'm not entirely sure if we should do it now or if we should wait. I think We don't have that much to worry about, so I'm just gonna move him up to accepted, and we can reduce how much capacity they're taking up by improving relations with them more. And so, if you notice, we got this event that we gained cores. We're kind of getting flooded by events, but... And now this is green, which means we actually are gonna get control over it. We're gonna get at least 15. So that's perfect. Georgia's at war with someone, which we're gonna join. Doesn't seem to be a big war. Yeah, we're gonna join. We're not gonna do anything. Our costs are already down. We can also go back to moving our values now that we... Oops, I scrolled past them. And I think we're pushing... We're almost close to finishing our capital economy push. So we need to really focus on our money, so we can build diplomatic relations outside of our like religious allies, and maybe strengthening our religious ally bonds. Now, our income is kind of bleak because we're doing all this diplomatic spending. This subject is great, Usak, but we should start moving towards subjects like this one, who is Turkish and Sunni. We really want to make sure that changes. And I think it's better to enforce religion first, just because it makes it so that you lose the debuff on an opinion that with people who have like a different religion from you. We have some corruption, and that's okay. Or we can take money from them. I love money. Now, one of the reasons I want to stockpile money is so that one, I can continue building bridges, but two, in order to expand to markets, we can look at this building right here, the overseas trading post and the trade office. Now the difference is the overseas trading post is for like countries of different religions, kind of, and like far off countries normally, whereas the trade office is for like people who are friendly with you. And in this case, we don't have a lot of people friendly with us. If you remember, we was going through a diplomatic mode. We have Trebizond, who has plenty places we can do. And I was kind of looking around the markets, and I do think this is a good place to make trades, because there's not that many countries trading. It's mostly just Trebizond, and they are making a decent money. They have good trades, and so we want to help them out, and we're just going to build some trading offices in each province, and this is going to give us trade capacity in their trading zone, and because we automate it, it's just going to give us some passive income. We also already have the Dubrovnik market. I think we have like a few provinces in here, and it's making us a nice amount of money, even though we like barely have control over it, so that's great. We're gonna unpause, and we're just gonna try building up as many diplomats as we can. And actually, this is making me think that I should change one of these guys, probably this guy, because I don't need a really powerful... improving diplomatic relations, which will help with these improvements that I'm doing around me. Now, we should also eventually look to improve relations with our subjects, but we kind of can't. So we're gonna convert this guy's religion too. And they're gonna join our patriarchate. And we're gonna keep... Okay, we already got another diplomat. We did the research for subject opinion. So we're going to enforce religion. Now, if we go back to our manage view, you're gonna notice they really do hate us because they have this modifier that's thinking down for whenever you do convert to religion or culture. That's okay, they might revolt a little bit, we'll beat them back down if that's ever the case. We also want to think about researches. You know, we're finishing diplo annexation costs. Might be a little early because we're kind of far away from researching them, from annexing them. But one research that we should think about is Deus Vote. So far we've been declaring war on the Ottomans using claim province CBs, which are better, but we have to have a core that they own, and we're gonna begin running out. And additionally, the other enemies I highlighted, particularly the Mamluks, we don't have any claims on them, and yet that they're a different religion, so we're gonna use religious causes bellies on them. I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna be able to use them on Venice and Naples, just because I don't know if I want to pull in that many opponents, but from Catholics, but I'm not entirely sure about that. We might have to use claim province, like a parliament CBs, but I think that is far off issue for us to face. I think this episode we're going to try building up and going over how to build up, what sort of things to keep an eye out for. I think, especially in like the first couple ages, you should be building up your RGOs. We have amazing RGOs here. So, buildings are also good. RGOs are kind of like free input. Obviously, you have to pay to build them, but one thing we should look at is whenever we are building RGOs, how much are we paying? We're, I think, paying the minimum price currently, and it's because lumber is very cheap. Yes, you want to get lumber to -33, and then you want to just start spamming RGOs typically. So we're going to keep going, and it's going to grow our tax base. Hopefully we're going to start being able to make money outside of Constantinople. And you can kind of tell Praus is like one of our most profitable provinces now. We have Polygros. I don't really know Greek names like that. And I really don't want to invest too much money. I'm not entirely sure what's the best way to deal with pirates yet. I'm going to do some research for you guys, so maybe in the next episode I can go over it. But yeah, our subjects are going to stay mad. We built up our diplomats. It's kind of the downside of spending on diplomacy. You have to pay attention to your diplomats. So we're going to enforce religion on these guys. These guys are already Orthodox and Greek, so we love these guys. These guys are the same. Our Ankara subject, we have to do both conversions on them. And the reason we are spending so much is because we need to keep them loyal, and your diplomatic spending directly helps your subjects' loyalty. So I think we've converted, we can double check with the country religious map mode. In case you guys are curious why there are two religious map modes, that is the one of what the country that owns the province, what the whole country follows, and what the actual location follows. So you can tell a lot of Sunnis here, but when we go back to country, it's all purple. Noticing these guys are not the subjects. I don't know why I was thinking they were. We also have to look at these lands here are already Orthodox, so we don't have to worry about converting them. But they are Bulgarian, and we might want to convert them now that we like are gonna start working on accepting them. It might help to have them Greeks just to speed up the integration. But I'm already worried about all of these guys revolting. I don't want to have like a two-front rebellion, if that makes sense. We're gonna pause. All these people are joining, I think, our patriarchate. We love to see that. And I think now we can actually begin. Oh, not the food spending. Food spending, you kind of want to keep it max, because if you don't pay for it, you just start losing pops to starvation. We're gonna keep it at 10. Our subject that we converted is still mad, but they were gonna be on 0 regardless. And our other subjects seem to be satisfied with just a +10 for loyalty, or +7.8, but that's okay with us. The reason we're losing is because we're currently improving relations with everybody. Let's see here. Are the Mamluks satisfied? What is their... I don't want to improve too much relations, but yeah, their antagonism has fallen to 0. We can stop improving with them. Same with Wallachia and Moldavia. We might want to eventually try conquering them, but sort of far off, and they are fairly powerful. And we also don't really have casus bellis we can create on them. They are like fellow Orthodox, so we would need to use a parliament CB. So for now I'm just gonna stop improving relations. Unless maybe let's investigate what are the chances of us getting allies with them. I do like having big alliance blocks. They do seem hesitant. Although I would be much more willing to be allies with Moldavia. So I'm gonna keep improving relations with them, but Wallachia, I don't care about you guys so much. So now we should just improve with our subjects. Maybe Uzbek, we want to integrate you soon. Once they've integrated their province and they've started converting it up. We are also building a spy network on the Ottomans. We can't entirely get another CB on them soon because we have a truce with them for another 6 years. But what we can do is we can steal maps, which I want to be mindful of. It does create antagonism on the location. So maybe we can steal some maps in Africa. And if we check the antagonism map mode, sorry, there's a rebellion. But people do get mad about that, so you want to be mindful of that. Seemingly, the county... Let's look at this one. It's the second rebellion against Adana. The Cyprus rebellion is calling us in to basically help them out. I think we definitely should. Why? Because they're Greeks. They're following the longer religions, but we'll figure that out. Really hoping no one goes to help Adana, but I'm not even sure if we have to raise our troops. I think if we look at the diplomatic map mode, it does also, while you're at war and you have rebellious subjects, they can't rebel. So it is kind of good to be in like a forever war if you have subjects. And that they're upset about it. Plus they also kind of fight the wars for you. Let's look at Adana's troop count. Oh, 0? Tough luck. They might be raising them, so this might be like a visual bug. Maybe now does it change? They got 6,000 guys, but I think maybe we should send our professionals after them, because it seems like our subjects are running in. And so for subjects, I do like doing manage subjects and then clicking select supportive. This makes all of our subjects want to be supportive. You want to make sure that they can attach to our armies, and it means that they're going to choose to attach a lot more. I think we're going to have to keep settling the tribesmen in our territory. We want to have the proximity gain. Yeah, it seems our subjects have completely sabotaged any semblance of a war effort, which is really unfortunate. This guy is fairly good at diplomacy, so we're gonna have him in capital economy. Oh, which it seems he can't help any further. So instead, even though he's not great at military, he can work on settling some more tribesmen. If we can find it. There we go. And this guy who's improving relations, we don't really need you improving relations anymore. You should go settle some side tribesmen too. They're gonna attack us in the mountains, we wanna let them, and they have lost. Sorry if these wars are going a little too fast, I can tune down the speed. Now, we have a parliament, and we did talk about using parliament CBs. Something we might want to look into is declaring war on candidates, but they're in the coalition. So we might want to hold off a little bit of the wars, but this is the coalition against us. So if we declare on one of these guys, everyone else is going to go help them, on top of their normal allies. Now, Wallachia isn't in the coalition, but if we do declare war on them, we are going to have to fight Moldavia and Wallachia. We can for sure take them, but it might be a little unfortunate. I want to just keep an eye on what's going on in Hungary. And it seems like they're getting jumped by the Bohemian Austria Catholic Alliance. So unfortunate for Hungary. We might see like a Austro-Hungarian Empire kind of form here. But for this parliament, let's preview what we can get. Nothing particularly riveting. I mean, this might be nice if we're gonna build a lot of markets. We can get our markets 20% off. And if we intentionally fail it, we can start pushing towards navally a little bit. It's not the best, but it might be the move. In the meantime, we can kind of delay this a little bit. We can unsiege our provinces. I did notice that we're not integrating as many provinces as we probably should be, so I might move one of these guys off of settling tribesmen and towards integrations. Yeah, we probably should be integrating some more provinces. 3 guys on integration and 2 guys on tribesmen sounds like a good balance. Let's speed up our counter sieges a little bit. Let's move into Mutt. And we kind of probably want to take all these towns and then move into the fort. Because we joined Cyprus, they did become our... they want to join. I'm not entirely sure what this means. They might become our vassal? Last time I had something similar, it said that they're going to become like vassals. Maybe I'm misremembering. But that's okay. I have a fair amount of hours in U5, but it loves to throw surprises at you. Now, the fort would be useful to siege, but it's going to take a while. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move in, and I'm going to click this button, detach siege, and I'm going to start sieging the remaining cities. And we're going to have this 1 stack because the enemy is defeated, he's gonna sit on the fort. In the meantime, we don't need to raise levies. There is a principality that needs independence from Poland. That's not happening, buddy. We don't care about our pops too much. Or at least our pops' desires. We do care about them working for us, fighting for us, stuff like that. But I might save this parliament for declaring war on Wallachia after this war with Adana. Now we're also stockpiling a lot of money, which is not good practice, so we're gonna go back into the RGO builder. And I like just pressing Control, which builds 5 RGOs at a time. Pressing it once, checking what it suggests, pressing it again. It's not the best, but getting some gold and silver would be amazing. Getting some iron would be nice. This is gonna make us a ton of profits. Maybe Adrianopolis could use some more dev. Like realistically, there are 0 laborers in this province. So if we build 2 RGOs of levels, this is gonna go to negative 2000, and it's gonna take a while for them to promote up, especially because this is a rural location. So this doesn't make too much sense. I think we can subtract 1 from there. We get the refund, and we can move it towards either Smyrni or Adrianopolis. We are exporting a ton of saffron, but I want to make sure that I get my dyes low, so my luxury cloth production is profitable. And we're gonna just full siege these guys. We're the war leader, so we're gonna try extracting as much as possible from them. We are kind of pushing the limits of our antagonism, so it might actually be beneficial to look ahead and see what kind of peace deal we would want. And once we figure out what we want from these guys, we would start thinking about who we need to improve relations with. Just kind of mindlessly clicking through. The provinces are incredibly cheap. We might actually get away with like a full annexation. We can't include their capital province because the fort is besieged. But now the issue is, we're gonna get a ton of antagonism with the Ottomans, which we don't care about, the Karamanids, which we don't care about, the Candidates, which we don't care about. These guys are gonna stop being a country. We're gonna get Lovich mad at us. But really no one too significant. I mean, Cyprus, don't really care. They're tributaries, so they don't have like diplomatic freedoms. Most of these are tributaries of the Mamluks. And because we improved the relations with the Mamluks, I think they're gonna be really far down this list. Maybe I missed them. I likely... Oh, Egypt. I didn't miss them. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be upset, but they're at 0 right now, so they can suck it up. Obviously, this is gonna go up when we include the final province. But for now... So them. And so this is the nice thing about subjects. They can throw away their levies. And you can keep your pops productive. Our subjects are gonna siege that down. Oh, it's because our army stopped being attached. So you want to keep an eye on that. It's kind of a fiddly mechanic. But we need to siege this province so we can full annex them. So we're going to keep going with this. This is kind of lucky. We're going to get peace imminent, but we have 1000 days to siege down a single fort. We can do it. And the nice thing, we didn't even have to raise our levies. We just did it with regulars. These guys, I don't think are patrolling the seas. You can check with our maritime presence. They don't seem to be doing their job. Oh, so they're at war, so they're scared, but you should not be scared. This is an easy war. We can call a synod, which we can kind of hover, which I really like, which I think can give us a special bonus, but we don't want to focus on it too much. Because I think we want to use our religious influence to start switching out some of these tenets. We can just sit on it, and we finish the siege. Unless maybe there's a... Hold on. There might be a tenet for... I'm not entirely sure. I don't play too much. As Orthodox. But our tenets are... look fairly nice. Maybe we don't care too much about heretical beliefs because every pop... Most of our pops are all like... most of our pops are Orthodox, and if they're not, our subjects are gonna convert them. So far, honestly, our tenets look good. So the only one I really wanted to change is probably I want to keep the double Sabbath for the pop growth. We want literacy. Potentially this one because it upsets our clergy. We want to keep our clergy as happy as possible. So we're just gonna move to reject tenet of the mask. We did finish our Deus vote advance, so we can now declare a religious war, which is kind of like a province war, but we can declare it without wasting our parliament. On countries that have different religions from us. I don't really like this research because I never declare no CB wars. Maybe this is something for like multiplayer when you want to like surprise people. All of this navy stuff might be important. I know this has Mediterranean in the name, but we already have barracks. It is a little wasteful. Cultural tradition could be nice. I think for spying, Diplo reputation would be really nice because Diplo reputation lowers your aggressive expansion, and in 1.1 this is super important. It's really important to max this stat out. Diplo capacity we don't quite need yet. We could think about getting like art schools, but we can figure that out later. Realistically, like, it's halfway through the discovery age, we should have gotten some of these institutions, but we're really struggling. I mean, Venice has been spreading them. Portugal's finally embraced the new world. We're not really trading with anyone, so I don't think we even have any sort of institutions in our Constantinople. Oh, we are working towards the printing press. I think we're passively improving it, so that's huge. Printing press is like, unless you're going colonial, it's probably the most important one in this age, so that's good at least. We can build an additional tailor's guild, or we can build a gunsmith. Why not both? And for this war, we can finally conclude it. We are gonna full annex them. Gonna verify. We don't care too much about the coalition. I mean, these guys could be kind of scary, but we already fought them once. We're gonna take all their money. We're gonna build some more buildings and some more trading posts. We don't care about the Catamonids. I'm not entirely sure about this war goal. I don't know what's gonna happen after. But we'll find out. And we could dissolve this patriarchate or keep it. I would honestly, considering that this only member is this country, I'm gonna just dissolve it and take all this free money. Cyprus does continue to exist, and they are. Maybe they need a month tick. I wonder what subject type they are. I think they're just vassals. They're secessionists. Okay, I think we might have bugged out the game a little bit by full annexing them. But we can just start annexing them. And it's not gonna take a while. But obviously they're not the right religion for us. So what we're first going to do is we're going to enforce religion. And then they can fix up their religion. We did, I think, slime out one of our rivals. So we're gonna have to look for a new rival. And I think, to be pretty fair, Venice is going to be our rival. They're in our trade nodes. They're getting all up in our business. And we want to stop them. We're going to start thinking about Wallachia. We're going to start thinking about trade. What we're going to build. But this has been a very, very successful conquest of another rival. And we're going to start dividing this up into subjects. Alright guys, rather than have you sit and watch through me figuring out what to do with the land, I decided to do it off camera. So as you can tell, I've made some subjects here. Now if you look at the province map mode, they are taking up more than one province each, typically 1.5 to 2. And I did this because the province shapes are kind of odd and I don't have them fully conquered. Additionally, kind of have a lot of subjects. I made half vassals, half fiefdoms. So the like pinkish is fiefdoms, the light blue is vassals. Cyprus is white because there's a secessionist revolt. But now when we press the diplomatic view, we're in the dark green, all of our subjects are in the light green. We've become quite big. I also, you may notice, finally did release Thessaly. We are integrating a lot of provinces and we still have some more to integrate. So rather than also manually integrating this, they were kind of at the edge of our proximity. I figured I might as well let them do it. They're already Greek and Orthodox, so that will be quick to integrate back into our country. A lot of these countries are not quite Orthodox Christians yet, but we're gonna have to manually convert them. But I've also thought about how to spend this money. If you hover over some of the markets we're present in, you can tell like the average profitability per. Now obviously here where we have very few trade capacity, it's going to be more profitable on average than one where we have a ton, because in this one we're only going to take one very profitable trade, or here we have to take a lot of trades after we finish the non-profitable ones. Sort of like diminishing returns. And I've been quite happy with how our trapezoid trade node's been performing. They're also our allies and we did want to kind of build them up. So for the sake of making some more money, I'm going to take some trading offices and I'm going to build one more everywhere where I had one and maybe an additional one in their capital. This way we're going to get a lot of trade in this zone even though we're not physically present. We still have a fair bit of money, so I think we should finish up the bridges in our like European segment of land where we're still kind of breaching out. A lot of the bridges here in the south are kind of tough to reach if you look at like they're in the dark orange shade. Additionally, I've been thinking about building some market warehouses in Constantinople. This affects the Constantinopolis market, but we're gonna max this out and this is gonna help us have greater storage and it's gonna help with our food prices because we'll be able to stockpile food. I did notice that over the winter our food reserves will dip a lot and as you can tell our food prices are fairly high. You want this number to be 0.01. So in the next episode, as we are advancing, we should think about this food price number so that our population can grow. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. In the next episode we're also gonna try probably jumping Wallachia, or if you have any other targets, you know, drop them in the comments. We've kind of boasted our presence really deep in this part of the world, you know, the middle ground between the Middle East and Europe. Thanks for watching, guys.